latest episode of 305 Vox Populi. This is our special show called The People Shop, right here in Lazarito's 2 with my co-host, Lazaro Gamon. How you doing, Laz?
What's up, man? How are you?
Oh, that's good, man.
All right.
Who do we got with us today? We got a radio legend here in South Florida, Jammin Johnny. How you doing, Johnny?
Doing good, man. Pleasure to see you again. My brother Lazarito, you know how it is. Thank you for the invitation. Happy to be here, part of the show.
Man, we appreciate you. One of the questions that we start off with is your why. Like, when did you make that decision? Hey, man, I want to be Jammin Johnny, right? My official name, how do they call it? Like, my government name is Johnny, but now I'm Jammin Johnny. I'm a legend. When did you make that shift or that decision in your life to say, you know what, I want to go into radio?
Well, I think a lot of it started when I was back in high school. My father, he had cancer and passed away during my senior year. And at that point I said, well, I got to do something with my life. He was a musician, and one of my best friends was a DJ. And I would see that he would get all the girls. So I was like, oh, who's the DJ at this party? So I said, you know what? I like this music thing. I'm going to get into the DJing aspect of it. And I started learning from him, from guys like Ciro Arena, who's a legendary DJ from Casanovas. We all lived in the neighborhood. And basically, I started hanging out at their house and started, picking up the craft. Because back then it was a lot more hands-on with the turntables and the records and 12 inches. And basically, I caught on to that. And then as I started doing more house parties and more events and stuff like that people started getting to know me. I met a guy.
You did those old school house parties.
You had to do those special illegal parties and all that stuff underground, and te pagan 50 pesos and all that stuff. We did it all.
Got it.
And along the way, I built my way up into working into nightclubs, like doing private parties at the 94th Aero Squadron.
Okay.
Which became a nightclub afterwards. And then I met Funky Frank Walsh. Back then they had a station called Rhythm 98. And they loved my work and the way I make the crowd, because it's not just playing records, it's how you animate the crowd and how you get people to motivate people to enjoy the music that you play. So I got little by little, and then one day my best friend, rest in peace, Mike in the Night 3I.
Got it.
He goes to me, bro, you can't go by that name, Johnny Caride, DJ Johnny. That's just not happening, bro. Your mixes make me jam. And back then, Bob Marley's song "We Jammin'" was a very popular song on the radio. So he goes, that's it, Jammin Johnny. That's the name we're gonna give you. Don't use that last name anymore. Just use Jammin Johnny, and you're always jamming. And from that on, it took off until my days of Power 96 and what I'm doing now.
Man, that's a great story, and understanding where the jamming came from. I think that's pretty cool for folks to hear that. So you hit on something that was interesting. So you're telling me, obviously, the DJs today, they're not at your level, because you said back then you were a lot more. So talk to us about that difference in eras for DJs, how you transition into what it is today.
I think it's like everything, technology has outgrown itself, and back then it was carrying crates of records, turntables. You had to make your own makeshift booth, with made out of wood that you would make it whichever way you want. Que pesaba un ton, it was amazing. You build your own speakers. You go buy the woofers at a shop, and then you build your own cabinet and put the woofer in there and then blow speakers. I mean, it was just it was really hard back then. I'm not saying it's any easier now, because now something breaks and it's more expensive, but we went through struggles, man, and learning the craft. The equipment wasn't set up the way it is now, where you just tell the computer, okay, this one goes with this one, and you almost set it to the point where the computer does it itself. Ya se ha perdido ese flow that we OGs, like I say in the business, the people that have been around, we still incorporate our craft because we enjoy that. But most people coming up now, most DJs, they already figured it out that the technology does it for them, so they just pretty much act out and they play the music. So,
got it. No. So you guys heard it. It's
the truth. Don't lie, guys, because you know that you tell that Serato to mix and it mixes for you. Con cuento.
So y'all not on Johnny's level.
Beat mixing, eso he oído.
You guys are acting out. This is the real deal. But that grind, I'm sure, has helped you be a lot more appreciative of where you're at today, right?
Oh, no doubt, Manny. Everything in life that's hard to obtain is worth having. That's my rule in my life. I've worked hard to get to where I've gotten. I've, put in countless hours, sacrificed personal relationships, that one has to go through, struggles and stuff like that to achieve the level that I'm at right now with being the program director of one of the biggest companies in South Florida, minority-owned company like Spanish Broadcasting Systems, which is Lazaro Gamon, a Hispanic Cuban that came as a migrant into this country and bought a station in New York and now has turned it into a whole network. So being a part of that struggle is what motivates me and makes me a better person, because people don't realize that nothing's given to anybody. It's what you earn. It's how you work. It's how you dedicate yourself to become a better person and the people around you better.
No, you got that right. And one of the stories that I heard, and when we were talking earlier, you recently went to Tallahassee to receive an award, and everybody immediately recognized you. And I think that's the power of radio, because a lot of folks sometimes they say, oh, they only recognize my voice. No, they know who you are, and everybody was like clamoring for you to play those jams and going back to those DJs, to hit the turntables and all. How did that feel? Going to the 850, completely different environment than Miami, South Florida, what we're used to, and everybody saying, showing you love.
Yeah, obviously Power 96 was a grassroots radio station that was very, very connected to the community. It had a halo effect on South Florida. And it was a radio station that built legends like DJ Laz, Felix Sama, Phil Jones, myself, Mohamed Moretta, Eddie Mix. I mean, it was countless DJs that became superstar celebrities who now we kind of like, yeah, we're still DJing, but we're now on the microphone aspect of it because it's become a digital world. Back then, we depended on the microphone to promote ourselves. We didn't have any platforms. We didn't have any digital way of telling people, hey, this is what we look like. We had to make a flyer, go to literally out in the streets and pound the streets passing out flyers so that people would know where we were at, or it was a different type of hustle. Now it's gotten easier. As I was talking to our producer here of the show, it's because of the pandemic, we've had to rush learning how to deal with this digital madness, and every day it's something new, it's something different, something way of keep yourself relative to the community, keep yourself relative to the industry and and what you do, and it's fun. But for us OGs, it's like, oh wait, this is going too fast. Life is going like a blur. Back then, it was more, hey, we walk into any place, and we were superstars, and people recognize good work. And like yourself, with what you've done with the community of Miami Lakes, I mean, you do good stuff. People are always going to recognize you, and never, they're always going to say, that's the guy, that's my mayor.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Look, you mentioned a good friend of mine, Funky Frank. I've known Frank Walsh for a long time.
Thanks to him, I'm here today in radio because of that guy. He believed in my talent. So
you heard that, Frank. I know he's going to be watching, so I'm sure he's going to really appreciate
Kid Curry and a lot of people that helped me get to where I had to get. They're people that inspire me for their knowledge and teaching, and the whole Beasley family at Power 96 when they were owned by Beasley, Greg Reed, all these people, they were very instrumental in my career, and they taught us one thing: discipline. And they said, wherever you walk, you carry the station on your shoulder. Always remember that. And that kind of helped me become a man, because a lot of people, they did, locura and getting drunk and all that. No, wait a second. Whenever you step out that door, you represent the station. So that made me a man real quick. And I appreciate those people for being there like father figures, because I lost my dad when I was in high school. So they became my father figures.
It's a powerful message to the youth that's going to be watching this. Always know, you got to have that reputation. That's what it's all about in the community, and having that brand. Same way I look at it in Miami Lakes. Even though I might not be on the job, I always know I got that Miami Lakes logo on me somewhere. So it's always a reminder. But if you could share with us, what's that one story? Because back in the days, social media didn't exist. So everything you do today, social media exists, right? So everything is on there, everything's talked about. But what's that one story that you can share that was amazing, that really didn't get ingrained into what everything, because everything happens today stays on social media. But what's that one story that you can share with us that might be amazing, might be an awesome story that hasn't been told in a while?
A lot of people don't know that through the help of my partner Mike in the Night and another gentleman named Carlos Villarza that was working with us in the studio, we created Macarena. We were the Bayside Boys. I was DJing in clubs, and I had my own Sunday night party in the Grove. Maybe this might for the old school Baja Beach Club. And every Sunday I had my Latin thing going and stuff, and they would walk up to me and say, "Yo, play this song called Macarena." I'm like, "Eh?" I'm like, Macarena? What? It's not a salsa, not a merengue. What is this? No, they play it on South Beach and this place called Pacha on the Miami Beach that was really popping for Spanish people. When I dug into my, my promos and stuff like that, sure enough, I had the CD from Los de Rio. Came back that Sunday, played the record just out of playing it, and all of a sudden the crowd, the dance floor just stopped. And everybody got into line dancing and started doing this dance. I'm like, hell no, what the heck is going on here? This is something special. Moving forward, I'm on a live broadcast with Kid Curry. And I remember it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. We were still on the air at a place called Cafe Casablanca in Miami Lakes.
Got it.
With a good friend of mine named Angel Garcia that used to run that. And I was his DJ, and I would go and we were broadcasting on Kid Curry and I. I said, "Kid, watch what I'm going to do now. You're going to freak out. The place is jam-packed. Couldn't walk around there." I said, "Watch this, what I'm going to do. I'm going to play a Spanish record on Power 96. He goes, "What are you going to do? You can't do that." I said, "Take my word for it. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. Who cares?" Played the record, and sure enough, everybody stopped, put their drinks aside, and everybody starts doing the Macarena dance. He goes, "No, we got to talk about this." And next day, Funky Frank goes, "You got 72 hours to come up with an English version of it so that we can play it on Power 96. So we went back to work, back into the studios, Bayside, with Mike and Carlos Villarza, who is a tremendous, talented producer. He had a girlfriend that we used as the girl, as Macarena. They sat there, penciled out everything. We all contributed an idea of how we wanted to make the song, so it would, hey, let's use the hook of the song and this and that. And in 72 hours, Mike calls me and goes, "Hey, here's the CD." We go back on the radio, go back on Cox on the Radio, legendary Cox on the Radio, got rest in peace, plays the record. And I had never seen something go crazy like that song going on the radio the first time. He literally had to play it in 1 hour, had to play it about 5 times because people were going ballistic with the version. And next thing you know, we start getting calls from all across the country. Back then there was no digital. We had to start sending CDs out to different radio stations without making 1 penny.
Wow.
So that the song would get played. And moving forward, made it to the Democratic Convention. Everybody started doing that year. They were doing the Macarena up there, Yankee Stadium. I mean, it was amazing how that song blew up. Till this day, it still was the #1 song on Billboard for as many weeks as it was on. Not beaten by anybody until recently. I think Daddy Yankee, and Luis Fonsi, I think they got close to it, or they may have won the battle of the weeks being on #1. But the song was on. It went worldwide. With the Carlos and Mike, they had to travel with a little team of people that they did to perform it with Los de Rio. And years later, we're still here talking about it. I guess that's like something. History.com has my name on there.
What?
Yes. It's one of the guys that came up with the ideas and the thought of the Macarena in English. So it's something that I can sit there and say, you know what? I'll die. At least my name is there. Somebody's going to talk about me someday. Is there?
Well, here's what we're going to do, and if everybody's cool with this. So you talked about playing the entire Yankee Stadium doing this. So Lou's going to look up the song, and we're going to get the entire Lazaritos in closing to do it together. You guys cool with that?
Let's do it.
Lazarito, ¿tú sabes bailar?
Yeah, look it up if you can on YouTube. So we'll get it ready. We'll get it ready.
Remember, it's Los de Rio. It's the Macarena Bayside Boys mix, which is it's a little bilingual, where the girl is kind of answering or traduciendo the translation of what the old guys were saying in the original song. And she's answering back to the old guys, and it's kind of like it was like a parody that we did, And that's why I think it worked out so well, because it became, you know, one of the biggest played songs in the world.
Oh, we're gonna get the whole shop to do it in about 5 minutes. Listen, if we got Yankee Stadium, if you got Yankee Stadium to do it, everybody in there, the Democratic National, we're gonna get Lazaritos too. Everybody in here, the producers, everybody's gonna do it. If you're cool with it.
Hey, I'm good, man.
All right, in about 5 minutes, we'll before we wrap up, we'll get there. Lou, what do you got? What questions you got?
I actually got 3 things for you. One, Carlos D'Arzo was actually my professor at St. Thomas. He's now the vice president. He's second in charge in Armstrong at St. Thomas.
What?
Yeah, one of the Bayside Boys guys. 2, and this one's more obviously for you. People in your industry have a way of being stuck with the times. You know, you could have very easily been in 80s, 90s freestyle Jammin Johnny, you know, but you have to obviously adjust and stay relevant. What have you done to stay relevant in your industry? Because that's good advice to give not only people that are your age, but up and coming people who, whether they like it or not, things are going to change. You know, it's not going to be IMAX. It's not. Some things are going to be different. We don't know what it is, but you're going to have to stay relevant. That's the truth.
I think it's important to listen to the people. You know, especially with social media now. You know, I'm always talking to people. I'm always answering my social media, Jammin Johnny Radio, shameless plug. They write to me. They ask me for songs. They'll send me artists that they are enjoying that maybe the radio's not playing. I'll listen to them. If I think that it fits my programming, then that's what, you know, we go with. But I think it's important that as a guy like myself, we stay relative. DJing in clubs is really important, because there you see what's working fast, what's not working. But mainly, I think it's important to stay in touch with your audience, with the people that follow you, the people that believe in your music, that believe in your DJing, you know, I think that's critical nowadays to do that, to grow and move with the times. You know, move and adapt. You know, there's a rule somewhere. I read somewhere that if you don't move and adapt, you're gonna die, basically. You know, so you gotta kind of go with the flow, man. You know,
that's a fact, man. That's a fact.
Last but not least, and this is out of curiosity, and I think a lot of people would want to know this, who's your favorite up-and-coming DJ in the South Florida scene right now?
Wow, that's a hard question. I don't want to offend anybody, but I think every guy or every DJ that brings something to the table that's different, I think to me is somebody that I would admire and I would respect, without giving out names. I work with a lot of great guys. I work with Alex Sensation, who is the #1 DJ in South Florida, New York, Puerto Rico, and LA. We have a network with him on El Sol 106.7, that he comes on from 11 to 3. He does producing, he sings songs, he's done tracks with everybody that you can imagine in the Hispanic business. And I look up to him and his passion and his fire to continue to evolve. And then having him, you know, me being able to come on after him has been a great help to my career and to my my station. There's a lot of up-and-coming DJs that have been around for a while, but nobody has noticed them. Nobody has paid attention to them. But like we were talking about, one guy in particular, DJ Adoni, which blew up in the scene right now. And now the guy is drawing and packing up places all over the country. And like him, there's a lot of other DJs that I'm very, you know, quaint and have a great relationship with, that I work with and I admire. And even from the most local DJ that we have, like we have DJ Chaos, we have you know, DJ Juice, which is another partner of mine that works for my sister station Ritmo 95. These guys work, man. They work the streets, they work their audiences, and they know how to hustle to keep their brand going. And as long as you're doing that, man, I admire you. I respect you, and you've got my support always. You know.
You put him on the spot. This guy's good. He might be a politician in the future. No, he's yeah, he's excellent. So what do you got in closing, or Laz? You got anything for Jammin Johnny?
Nah, man, I just want to thank you for everything, man. I met him a couple years back, and bro, he's been like they say, 100.
That's
you
true,
know
man.
what I mean? Always looking out, and he does it out of the kindness of his heart, you know. And I want to thank you for that, because it's hard to find people like you, man. Because nowadays there's only people doing things for other people when there's an interest in the way. You know what I mean? And like I said, bro, there's another one right here. And Manny, to come and bring your show over here to the People's Shop means a lot to me, you know. So I want to thank both of you guys.
And it's called the People's Shop for a reason, because one of the things that attracted me to being with this shop is one day I had a particular emergency, true story. I had a barber that would come to the radio station. You know us, we don't have time to move around sometimes. And the guy couldn't come, but I needed a cut bad. And Laz is the type of guy that he's not about, he doesn't care if he follows you on your Instagram and he's home. And I said, this guy's always supporting my pictures and always supporting my Instagram. And I hit him up. I go, yo, I need a cut, man. Real quick. He goes, bro, come on in. I can't take care of you myself, but I'll make sure somebody does. And he, from that day, showed me nothing but love. When you come into the shop, it's like you feel like you're at home. You can be comfortable. You can be who you are. And you don't necessarily have to be, okay, yo soy Jammin Johnny, yo voy a hablar con la voz así, no. You can be who you are and relate with people and talk to people and listen to what people have to say about what you do on the radio and what you don't do. And from that day, man, I felt like I was at home. And that's what I really applaud you guys for what you guys are doing with this whole podcast, because this is like, it really is the People's Shop.
No, you got that right, and it's a great feeling to be here, Laz. Thank you for helping us put this on. And Johnny, what's some final words for future generations in closing? What do you got to inspire them, motivate them? They heard a lot about you, but some final words for them.
I just think that if you have a dream, there's no such thing as not being able to fulfill your dream, as long as you listen to people around you. That's the most important thing. God gave you 2 ears and a mouth, and He expects you to use it in that proportion. So listen to the mentors, listen to those people that want to reach out and help you, and then follow through with your dreams, because anything is possible. I've been blessed with a lot of great people in my career, and I'm still blessed with people that I work with nowadays. I have a great ownership company. I have great leaders like Jesus Salas is DJ Zeus, which is also a guy that grinded with me from the beginning. And I have a great team of people that work with me on the radio that are always able to do what we passionately love to do. If you can do that, you'll be fine at whatever it is that you decide to do, from DJing to being a barber to being a mayor. You gotta have passion, you have to have discipline, and you gotta really want it to get it.
So there you have it, the legend Jammin Johnny. Tune in next Wednesday on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.